Hello, my name is Jim McGillivray and this is the Pipe Box, your source for all things piping. If you find this video useful, please give it a like and please subscribe to this YouTube channel to be made aware of more videos just like this. Today we're going to go over some music, and you can print this music out by going back to the description of this video on my YouTube channel. You will see a link to a PDF there. Today I would like to give you 3 basic exercises that you can use to improve your doublings. Doublings are our most significant piece of complex technique. Hardly a bar of music goes by without a doubling or two appearing. So it's really important as musicians that we practice doublings to the point where they become automatic, where when we see the movement on the page, our fingers play it and play it accurately without very much thought. This occurs by training our muscle memory by playing the doubling or the exercise innumerable times and playing it innumerable times correctly. If you play a doubling incorrectly and then play it repeatedly for days or weeks, you will end up with a doubling that's played incorrectly every single time perfectly. So always make sure when you're working on your doublings that you have them correct and accurate right from the get-go. All of the doublings follow the same principles. The first grace note, usually a high G, is on the beat, and the next grace note follows the beat. Keeping the grace notes separate is a key point. There needs always to be a bit of a space between the 2 grace notes in your doubling, and one of the major errors in playing doublings is to play the 2 grace notes at the same time, or almost at the same time, almost on top of one another. For example, a C doubling or an E doubling. Grace notes have to be separate. We don't want to crush our doublings. The first grace note in each doubling is invariably going to be a G. Let's ignore our high A and high G doublings for a moment. These I would more properly call throws rather than doublings. In our F, E, D, C, B, even a low A or low G doubling, the G grace note is the first grace note. It's going to be accurate and it's going to be on the beat. By accurate, I mean when that G finger moves, any other fingers that are supposed to come up with it are coming up at exactly the same time. And then the next grace note. Or. So it's really important when your G grace note in your doubling, when that finger hits the chanter, your foot hits the floor. Many pipers, and I mean an awful lot of pipers, who are inexperienced, tend to put the wrong grace note in the doubling on the beat. They put the second grace note on the doubling rather than the first grace note, and that bends the tune all out of shape. Let me play you a few bars of Scotland the Brave with the G grace note in the C doublings played squarely on the beat. And then I'll play you the same passage with the G grace notes ahead of the beat. Scotland the Brave. Okay? G grace notes on the beat. Now here's the G grace notes ahead of the beat and the second grace note in the doubling on the beat. That's what you hear when you play your doubling ahead of the beat. Here it is again on the beat. So, the lesson here is that your doublings need not only to be accurate in terms of finger movements, but they must be rhythmic as well. Make sure that G grace note is on the beat at the start of the doubling, not the next grace note. Okay, our first exercise is a classic. I'm sure you have all seen it. Let's hear exercise 1. You will have noticed a burl at the end of that exercise. I don't want to talk too much about burls, but I will say a burl rhythmically is just like a doubling. The first tap in the burl is on the beat, not the second tap. Okay, if you're having trouble with exercise 1, I'm going to suggest that you might be playing it too quickly. I can't tell you how often I see pipers who are able to play pieces of technique and tunes pretty well, pick up their practice chanter and play those pieces too quickly, and everything falls apart. When things don't go well, commandment 1, thou shalt slow down. You need to go as slowly as you need to play the movements perfectly. Don't think that playing every third one perfectly is going to make your doublings get better. You need to play slowly and be very, very patient. When in doubt, slow it down. Our second exercise is a little more difficult. Now we're going to play doublings on every note, going up the scale and back down. There's a difference between playing a grace note going from one note up to another and playing it going down. For example, if I go from E to F, playing a G grace note going up, the two fingers lift from the chanter at the same time and the G finger comes back down. That's the principle of playing a grace note on the note. If I play a G grace note going down from F to E, now the G grace note lifts and the F and G fingers come down and hit the chanter at the same time. So remember, whether you're going up the scale or down the scale, you're going to think about G grace notes being played accurately with fingers either coming up off the chanter at the same time or hitting the chanter at the same time. In terms of the beat, whether you're going up the scale or down, the beat always happens when your G grace note finger hits the chanter. Okay, let's hear exercise 2. third and final exercise is a takeoff on the melody of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. The exercise is both a doubling exercise and it's a bit of a strike exercise as well. You're going to have strikes on various notes. Strikes happen right on the beat. When those strike fingers hit the chanter, your foot hits the floor. Again, do not play too quickly. Keep the two grace notes in your doublings well separated and make sure the first grace note is on the beat. Tap your foot all the way through. Here is exercise 3. So these are 3 fundamental doubling exercises that should help you improve your doublings. You may find that your doublings are pretty good right from the get-go and that you can make a pretty reasonable job of these exercises. Here is a key point. When you can play that exercise perfectly, that's not the end of your work. You do not stop playing that exercise. When you can finally play that exercise perfectly, that is when you really start to put in the reps. You want your accuracy and your rhythmic accuracy to find its way into the tunes, and you're only going to be able to do that by playing these exercises perfectly again and again and again and again, and you will start to see the doublings in the tunes get better. Repeated playings of the exercises with lots of concentration and focus and the movements at a high quality is what you need to do to improve your tunes. Stay focused. You can learn a lot more about bagpipe technique from my technical tutor, Rhythmic Fingerwork, which I speak about here frequently. Rhythmic Fingerwork has 144 exercises on all kinds of technique. There are audio recordings of each exercise, and there are extensive instructions on each exercise as well. My customers say it's an excellent book, and I have sold tens of thousands of them. So if you want to improve your music, you do so by improving your technique, and Rhythmic Fingerwork will help you improve your technique. It's available from myself or from any Highland outfitter. So that's it for fundamental doubling exercises. Take it slow, be accurate, and tap your foot. Until next time, this is me, Jim McGillivray, at the Pipe Box, wishing you good piping.